2025, several countries will tighten their immigration laws to the point of mass deportations. Some call it defending their sovereignty, while others see it as an unfolding humanitarian crisis. From Europe to Asia and the Americas, the numbers are staggering, and the stories are heartbreaking. In this video, we'll explore what's driving these drastic decisions, which countries are at the center of this controversy, and how it all affects the world. Stay until the end, because you'll be surprised by some of the countries on this list. 10. Poland. With a population of 38 million, Poland is one of the strictest countries in Europe when it comes to illegal immigration. Under the leadership of various politicians, the country has reinforced its borders and adopted stricter security measures. In a complex geopolitical context, Poland has taken a firm stance, prioritizing the protection of its Christian and European cultural identity. Although the Polish economy has seen significant growth in recent years, its immigration policies have remained strict. While Poland has welcomed thousands of Ukrainian refugees due to the war with Russia, the government has been reluctant to accept immigrants from non-European cultures, often linked to the Muslim religion. Polish politicians uphold Christianity as a cornerstone of national identity, which is reflected in their immigration policies. This approach has helped Poland remain one of the safest countries in Europe, with no significant terrorist attacks in recent years. A booming economy and the protection of local culture have been the foundation of a migration model that has minimized the risks associated with mass immigration from cultures that do not share Poland's traditional values. 9. Sweden. Historically, this Scandinavian country has been welcoming to immigrants, but in recent years, it has significantly tightened its immigration policies due to rising crime rates. The country has seen an alarming increase in firearm-related deaths, now ranking first in Europe. This surge in violence has dramatically shifted public perception of immigration, as many of those involved in these crimes come from migrant communities, primarily from African countries. Gang-related conflicts have fueled growing insecurity, affecting both immigrants and native Swedes alike. Once known for their safety, Swedish cities are now grappling with rising violence and disorder. In response to this situation, the Swedish government has adopted stricter immigration policies. In addition to tightening asylum and residency requirements, Sweden has introduced voluntary return programs, offering €30,000 to immigrants who choose to return to their home countries. This measure aims to ease pressure on public services and reduce social tension stemming from the increasing violence linked to organized crime and drug trafficking gangs. 8. South Korea. This Asian country is facing an unprecedented demographic challenge. Its population is aging rapidly, and its birth rate is among the lowest in the world, averaging less than one child per woman. This issue threatens to shrink the workforce in the future, potentially putting its highly advanced economy, driven by competitive technology and manufacturing industries, at risk. While the country has historically allowed immigrants to fill labor shortages, in recent years, it has tightened its immigration policies. This shift is partly due to growing concerns over security and job protection for local workers, especially in a context where youth unemployment remains a significant challenge. Additionally, South Korea is a culturally homogeneous nation, and debates over immigrant integration have sparked social tensions. Some segments of the population believe that increased immigration could alter Korean cultural identity, leading to more restrictive policies. Despite this stance, the country continues to seek ways to balance the need for foreign workers with the demands of its local population, a complex task in an ever-evolving economy. 7. Hungary. With a population of 9.6 million, Hungary has taken a hardline stance on unauthorized immigration, especially since the 2015 migration crisis, which marked a turning point in Europe. Viktor Orban's government has implemented strict policies, including the construction of border fences with Serbia, intensive border patrols, and laws that make asylum access more difficult. These measures, justified as necessary for national security, reflect a strategy that prioritizes border control over immigrant rights. Although Hungary's economy is growing, it faces structural limitations and is not equipped to integrate large waves of immigrants, especially those from vastly different cultures. Orban and other Hungarian politicians openly advocate for the preservation of Hungarian culture and European values, expressing strong resistance to immigration from Muslim-majority countries or cultures they see as incompatible. This stance aligns with a political strategy aimed at consolidating domestic support in the face of a changing and increasingly Islamized Europe. 6. Turkmenistan. This Central Asian nation, home to fewer than 7 million people, enforces an extremely restrictive immigration policy. With tight control over its economy, heavily reliant on its vast natural gas reserves, the government in Ashgabat does not tolerate unauthorized immigration. Strict border controls and surveillance are measures designed to prevent foreign influence and safeguard its authoritarian regime. For foreigners, entry into this country is only possible through official registration as part of a guided tour, and visitors must pay for their stay in advance before being allowed to enter. 5. Japan. With a population of 125 million, Japan has maintained one of the strictest immigration policies in the world. Although the rate of undocumented immigration is relatively low, the country remains inflexible in rejecting those who attempt to enter without proper documentation. Despite facing a severe labor shortage due to its aging population, Japan has shown strong cultural resistance to immigration. As a result, authorities focus more on preventing unauthorized arrivals than on integrating those who manage to settle. Even with a growing demand for foreign workers in sectors such as construction and services, Japan has opted to maintain strict entry requirements and a limited openness to immigration. While special visa programs exist for skilled workers, most migrants face significant barriers to obtaining work or residency permits. Cultural resistance to change has been a key factor in Japan's immigration policy, with a strong emphasis on maintaining social homogeneity and preserving national identity. This has led Japanese authorities to uphold a conservative stance on migration flows, even in the face of economic necessity. 4. Slovakia. This Central European country has taken a hardline approach against illegal immigration, particularly after the European migration crisis. The Muslim population is minimal, estimated between 2,000 and 5,000 people, and a national law requires 50,000 registered adherents for a religion to gain tax benefits and build places of worship. As a result, there are no mosques in the country. Prime Minister Robert Fico has openly stated that there is no place for Islam in Slovakia and has used the absence of mosques as a justification for rejecting non-Christian refugees. Despite labor shortages in some industries, Slovakia has not relaxed its immigration policies, prioritizing the protection of its cultural identity and preventing potential social tensions. 3. North Korea. With a population of 25 million, North Korea remains one of the most secretive countries in the world. Under the rule of the Kim dynasty, entry restrictions are extremely strict, affecting both tourists and potential immigrants. Only small, government-controlled tour groups are allowed, and visitors are monitored at all times. When it comes to immigration, settling in North Korea is virtually impossible. The state-controlled economy offers few opportunities for foreigners, and the government strictly limits external influences that could challenge its authority. Border security, particularly along China and South Korea, is designed not only to prevent unauthorized entry, but also to stop its own citizens from leaving. This extreme isolation reinforces economic hardship and limits any meaningful interaction with the rest of the world, making North Korea a unique case of total exclusion on the global stage. 2. Mexico. With over 130 million people, Mexico is currently facing one of the most complex migration crises in its history. For decades, the country has served as a key corridor for migrants heading to the United States, but the stricter policies under Donald Trump's administration during his return to the presidency have intensified the situation. As a result, thousands of migrants have been stranded in border cities such as Tijuana, Ciudad Juarez, and Reynosa, where makeshift camps are creating social and economic tensions. Claudia Sheinbaum's administration has begun dismantling these camps. Additionally, the rise in violent incidents involving some migrants has raised concerns among citizens, fueling tensions and resistance within these communities. To curb the migrant flow, Mexico has imposed visa requirements on several Latin American countries in an effort to control the traffic toward the United States. On the other hand, Mexico is also dealing with mass deportations from the United States, many of which involve non-Mexican migrants. This has led the country to reject some deportees, arguing that it is not obligated to accept those who are not its citizens. 1. United States. With over 330 million inhabitants, the United States remains one of the primary destinations for illegal immigrants. Now, with Donald Trump back in power, his administration has begun implementing drastic measures to curb immigration. One of the most decisive actions has been the reactivation of mass deportations, aiming to reduce the number of undocumented individuals in the country. Additionally, Trump has raised the possibility of eliminating birthright citizenship, which could impact millions of individuals born in U.S. territory to immigrant parents, especially those of Hispanic American origin. However, these measures are not without controversy. A clear example of the consequences occurred in the state of Florida, where a mass deportation of undocumented immigrants led to severe economic repercussions. Many industries such as agriculture, construction, and the service sector rely on unskilled labor, which is mostly provided by immigrants from Hispanic America. The sudden labor shortage resulted in millions of dollars in losses, business shutdowns, and an increase in the cost of certain products. This situation presents a dilemma. Can the United States sustain its economy without these workers, despite the political pressure to restrict illegal immigration? These countries have made drastic decisions regarding illegal immigration, whether for economic, security, or political reasons. With migration flows becoming increasingly complex, the question remains, will these restrictions be effective, or will they only escalate global tensions? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more content.